Okay, welcome to the deep dive. So today we're digging into a really interesting piece of kit, the OM Seating OM5 Evolved Ergonomic Chair.
Yeah, this one's been making some noise, right? Especially with that Best of Neocon award back in 2024.
Exactly, and it's going to be at NeoCon 2025 apparently.
Eh,
So that award, it definitely makes you sit up and take notice.
it does. In a market, this full recognition like that suggests there's something, genuinely different going on, either in the design or maybe how it feels to use.
Right. So that's our goal today. We want to figure out what actually makes the OM5 Evolved tick. Where does it fit? What's the thinking behind this design, and who's it really for?
Well, you got to remember the context here. We're talking the premium end of office chairs. Think Herman Miller, steel case, human scale, those
The
guys.
hitters.
Exactly. And they spend big on R&D, they push innovation, and yeah, the prices are higher, but they usually back it up with quality and real ergonomic benefits.
Okay, so if you're shopping in this space, you're not just looking for a chair. It's more like
I think,
an investment,
yeah,
right?
totally. An investment in your comfort, your health, long-term productivity, really.
Hmm.
People care about innovation, how long it lasts, and yeah, how it looks too.
So given all that, how does OM Seating carve out its own niche with this OM5 Evolved?
Well, that gets us to arm seating itself and their design partner, Fidzine. They seem to have this distinct philosophy they call body-activated motion. BAM, for short.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that seems to be their core, unique selling point, the thing that really sets them apart.
All right, body activated motion. Let's break that down. What does that actually mean if I'm sitting in the chair?
So think of it like the chair is kind of smart. It has this self-weighing mechanism built in,
Okay.
and that lets it respond like intuitively to your weight, how you move, how you shift around. The big idea is that it happens pretty much automatically. You don't need to mess with loads of levers and dials.
Ah, right. So it's less fiddly for the person using it.
Exactly. The complexity is hidden, making it simpler on the surface,
Yeah.
which is, well, it's an interesting design choice.
Yeah, it is.
And this whole intuitive idea carries over into their recline mechanism. It's patented, actually. A synchronized recline.
Synchronized, meaning.
Meaning when you lean back, the backrest and the seat move together
Yeah.
in a really coordinated way. But here's the kicker. The seat actually slides forward a bit as you recline.
Forward.
Yeah, they call it an uphill motion.
An uphill recline. Huh.
Oh,
That sounds different. What's the point of that compared to, a seat just tilting back?
well, the thinking is that this uphill slide keeps you closer to your desk or work surface, even when you're leaned back.
Okay, so you don't feel like you're suddenly miles away from your keyboard.
Right. And maybe physiologically, it helps keep your hip angle more open. Could be better for circulation than chairs where the seat just tilts back or stays flat. It seems less about hitting exact angles and more about this smooth body-driven movement.
So it's more about the overall feel, the chair just adapting to you almost, instinctively.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so beyond this core BAM system, what other specific design bits are in there?
Oh yeah, they've got a few other proprietary things going on. One's called virtual pause lock.
Virtual pause.
Yeah, so when you're upright, it feels stable, natural. But as you lean back, it can sort of pause dynamically wherever you stop based on your body's cues. But, and this is key for some people, the Evolve series also has an optional physical lock.
Ah, okay. So you get the dynamic feel, but you can still lock it solid if you want to.
Exactly. Best both worlds, maybe. It caters to different preferences, different ways of working.
That sounds pretty flexible. What else?
There's also something called variable back response. Basically, rollers inside the backrest adjust the resistance as you lean back.
So the support changes depending on how hard you push.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It aims for continuous adaptive support. Then there's the waterfall flex seat edge. Just means the front edge is curved nicely to take pressure off your thighs.
Standard stuff, but important.
Right. And seat depth adjustment, of course,
Yeah.
lets you tweak how much thigh support you get. Also pretty standard, but necessary.
These all sound like really deliberate choices, focused on comfort for sitting a long time. Now, you mentioned evolved enhancements. What's specifically new or better in the evolved version?
Yeah, evolve means upgrades. First big one, weight capacity is up to 350 pounds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, suggests it's built tough, right?
Yeah.
And opens it up to more users. Plus, they added a field replaceable seat cushion.
Smart. So if the cushion wears out, you just swap it. Don't need a whole new chair.
Exactly. Good for longevity, good for sustainability, too.
Yeah.
And another big option is this asynchronous bilateral lumbar support.
Bilateral, meaning both sides. Asynchronous.
Yeah, you can adjust the support for the left and right sides of your lower back independently. So like really personalized tuning for your specific back shape.
That's pretty granular. So putting it all together, the OM5 Evolved is kind of positioning itself as this versatile, really user-friendly option that's all about that intuitive, almost automatic ergonomic support.
I think that's spot on. It seems aimed at people, or maybe companies, who want that cutting-edge ergonomic thinking long-term value, but maybe without wanting users to constantly tinker with
All
settings.
right. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. How does this chair, with its whole body-activated motion thing, stack up against the big names we mentioned? Herman Miller, Steelcase, Human Scale.
Yeah, this is where you really see the different design philosophies clash,
Hmm.
or maybe just diverge. Take the Herman Miller Aeron.
The classic.
Right. Its whole thing is that pellicle mesh, the different sizes.
Mm.
It's about getting a very specific breathable fit. The OM5 Evolved with BAM and that uphill recline, it's just a different kind of interaction.
How so?
Well, the Aeron often relies more on you making manual adjustments, setting the tilt limiter, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
The OM5 Evolved is aiming for more.
Hmm.
Immediate, fluid adaptation as you move. It's kind of tailored fit versus automated response.
Okay, two different paths to comfort. What about Steelcase, like the Gesture or the Leap?
Steelcase is famous for those super flexible arms and backs, right? Designed to follow you through all sorts of postures.
Yeah, very adaptable.
It's very. But the OM5 Evolved's differentiator is still that core BAM mechanism, the leverless response. Steelcase often gives you more knobs and levers for fine-tuning specific bits. The OM5 puts the emphasis on the chair itself, adapting automatically based on your weight and movement.
So it's like, do you want lots of control dials or do you want the chair to just figure it out?
Kinda, yeah. And then there's human scale, like the Freedom chair.
Right, they also focus on fewer manual adjustments.
They do. The Freedom uses a weight-sensitive recline too, so there's some similarity in the goal of a chair that adapts without lots of user input. But the OM5 Evolved specific body-activated motion, those rollers in the back, that unique uphill seat recline, it creates a different feel, a distinct adaptive experience. It really boils down to how it feels to you, how it responds to your movements.
So, okay, the OM5 Evolved isn't just a copycat. It's really banking on this unique body-activated motion, the synchronized tilt. Those are its core differentiators.
Exactly. And that Neocon award, that's basically industry validation saying, yeah, this approach is different and it's innovative.
Right, recognition from the experts. Okay, let's talk money. You mentioned premium. The starting price is around, what, $1,000?
Yeah, list price starts around $1,018 for a base model, like the mid-back Polyflex. And obviously adding options like that fancy lumbar support, different finishes, that'll push the price up significantly.
Okay, definitely an investment. So what's the value proposition beyond just, the chair itself? What makes it potentially worth it long term?
Well, several things. Durability seems key, with that 350-pound capacity suggesting it's built to last.
Okay.
Serviceability, too, with that replaceable seat cushion. That extends the useful life. Then there's the warranty lifetime limited on structural parts, which is pretty solid. Right. But maybe the biggest intangible value is in those intuitive ergonomics. If it's genuinely easier to use and keeps you more comfortable with less fuss, that could mean better focus, better productivity, less fatigue over time.
So the value is partly in the potential for sustained comfort and focus, especially if you like that set it and forget it aspect, and the award gives it some cred.
Precisely. The target user probably appreciates that seamless support and maybe values that recognized innovation. They're willing to invest for those specific benefits.
Makes sense. Now, if you are interested, how do you actually get your hands on one? Where are they sold?
They seem to use a few different channels. For bigger clients like corporations, it's likely through authorized dealers and sales reps.
Yeah.
The usual B2B route.
Wait for bulk orders and support?
Yeah. But they're also available through online retailers, so individuals and smaller businesses can buy them too.
E-commerce access. Good.
And they have showrooms. You mentioned Chicago, which is obviously key for Neocon, so people can actually go and try them out, which is important for a chair.
Definitely need to sit in it. Okay, so a mix of channels. Now, how does all this, the chair's features, its philosophy, how does it fit with the bigger trends we're seeing in office furniture and workplace design right now?
Actually, it aligns pretty well on several fronts. Sustainability is huge. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So using recycled materials, cutting back on chrome, that ticks a box. Then there's the trend towards intuitive tech products that just work without a steep learning curve. BAM fits right into that.
The smart chair idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because it adapts automatically, It's potentially great for agile workspaces, hot desking, shared environments where different people use the same chair.
Good point. Less setup time each time someone sits down.
Right. There's also the massive focus on well-being. A chair that encourages movement, provides dynamic support, that plays directly into employee health and wellness initiative.
Sure.
And finally, people still want stuff that lasts and has some recognized quality. So the 350 pounds capacity, the replaceable parts, that Neocon award, it all speaks to durability and innovation people are looking for.
So it seems like they've really tried to hit several key market demands with the OM5 Evolved.
Yeah, looking at it from a market analysis angle, it's clear they aren't just trying to build another Aaron or lead clone. Their strategy hinges on that unique, award-winning body-activated motion, the specific recline, the virtual pause. It's all very deliberate.
And aimed squarely at people who prioritize that effortless adaptive comfort.
I think so. And the Evolved upgrades the higher weight limit, the replaceable cushion. Those just make its position stronger, more compelling.
So their challenge is really communicating those unique benefits effectively.
Exactly. Communicating why this type of automatic adaptation is beneficial and leveraging things like Neocon to get people to experience it. But yeah, they've definitely carved out a distinct identity for the OM5 Evolved as a pretty sophisticated, user-focused ergonomic solution.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, it's definitely a fascinating chair. The OM Seating OM5 Evolved is clearly an innovative player trying to stand out in a really tough market.
It really is. And, it makes you think this whole trend towards intuitive, adaptive tech, it's not just office chairs, is it? It's changing what we expect from everyday objects. So the question is, what other areas, what other things could benefit from this kind of body-activated intelligence? Where else could things just respond to us seamlessly without us even thinking about it?